I'm looking. Now. I'm looking. Collect those children. I'm looking. I'm looking. What was that?
I have no idea, but it would be really great if it didn't do it again.
Collect those children. I'm looking. I'm looking. I'm looking. Collect those children. Collect those children. I'm looking. I'm looking. I'm looking. Collect those children. 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 God damn it! God damn it! God damn it! God damn it!
What a fun word to say. This is my last song. I'm gonna really need it all from you, man. I'm gonna leave it all out here. I'm gonna leave my heart on this fucking floor.
Let's go! Fuck. Fuck. Shit.
My very first tattoo session ever.
All right. Let's see. Take that out. Take that out. Add that. This is, believe the first appearance of the universe galaxy. Got more to come. I'm not sure if I'm not sure how much of this I'm gonna play, but little time portal. This is in 2021, I believe. Let me double check the date. 3 years ago. Yeah, it's 21.
Hello?
Universe Galaxy. I thought it was Michael Jordan. Yeah, cool. Universe what? We can talk about the electromagnetic universe. So anyway, while we're trying to get them in, we were talking about what? Nibiru, Sitchin, and when, because the Maya had also seen it. It's not just Sumerians. I mean, the reason I know about it is because I went to the pyramids in Mexico.
Oh.
And actually, welcome, universe.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I am the person from the chat room with the username Michael Jordan fans are the worst NBA fans.
And
we gotta get into this name first.
Sure.
I identify with that name completely because I am a Michael Jordan fan and I'm not that big of an NBA fan myself.
Yeah, and actually the way you brought up LeBron James is part of the problem, how you people are the worst NBA fans right there.
Why? Because that little bitch means something?
No. Hold on. I want you to elaborate. Why do you think that why do you think LeBron James should be put on a higher status than Michael Jordan?
You are again Now you are proving my point that you guys are the worst NBA fans, because not once have I ever brought up LeBron James, but you guys have this mentality whenever someone doesn't pick Michael Jordan, it must be LeBron James.
No, because it was Kobe Bryant before him, or
Right.
I like the Shaq personally. I think
I was gonna
Shaq
say, I
is
just
awesome.
think it's the general GOAT talk that you get in any sport. I would tell you who the GOAT was. There's always an argument for it for MMA. I just like several sports where you try to pick either the best quarterback or
Well,
stuff like
football is
that.
all
And I
about
think
Tom Brady and the New
Well, just
England
so you,
Patriots.
just so you know,
I'm a
because
Cowboys fan.
I'm guessing nobody here knows who I am, which is okay. I don't expect you to know me. I have a very, very popular page on YouTube. It's probably the number, if you don't count ESPN, TNT, Fox Sports, and the big dogs, it's probably the most popular NBA page on YouTube, called the Universe Galaxy. So I don't want you guys to think I'm some troll or LeBron James fan calling in to be ridiculous.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Yeah,
No,
I debate this topic all the time. I have my own podcast where I literally put on Michael Jordan fans and I debate them and I listen to all their points. I take polls and surveys and I use data to show people what they think. I put up videos. You name it, I've pretty much covered it. There is no doubt, out of all the fans of the NBA, they are the most uneducated about the NBA, the most in love with the star, the most ridiculous and strangest NBA
Because
player.
he's the only reason that we actually paid attention to that thing. I don't like watching the NBA. I prefer playing basketball.
I
It's not better
lie.
than
I have been done with the NBA for quite some time.
I can tell you right now, I've never actually met a Michael Jordan fan who liked any part of the NBA except the 1980s and 1990s. And not only that, they think the 1980s and 1990s is the number one time, the golden time, the toughest time, and the best time of the NBA.
I was a Bird fan before I was a Jordan fan. I found out about Jordan because of Bird.
Yeah, I can't make that claim. I have an autographed Bird poster at my house. I was big into Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, and Michael Jordan, and I grew up 30 minutes away from Chicago.
I didn't like Pippen. I thought he was a punk.
By the way, in the chat room when I was
also a big Magic fan. I liked Orlando as well. I wasn't specific to Jordan, but when it comes down to stats, I think he was one of the rudest players. But I do think he did accomplish a lot compared to most other players.
Jordan was rude. Seriously?
Oh yeah, he was super rude coming in. He was horrible with other people.
So in the chat room when I was asking you guys if you take other topics, what I normally do is I call in different programs and I bring up certain topics. I usually bring up 4 lately, and I always throw them out there and I find out if the host is interested. Great. If not, no hard feelings. I hang up and call another program. So if you'd like,
we're open with any topics as long as they're YouTube friendly.
Out there.
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to throw you. Thank you. No, I appreciate it. I'm going to throw out 4 topics for you guys. And just so you know, if things work out well, you're always welcome on my program. You can plug your page on my page if you like. So let me throw out 4 topics.
Networking, that works.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. I'll throw out 4 topics for you. You tell me if you like any of them. I'll go.
What do you mean by like willing to talk about them? I already know we're willing to talk about all of them as long as they're YouTube friendly.
Hey, shut up. Let him ask his questions.
No, it's totally fine. If you, the other reason was I thought let me just bring them all up. So you tell me which one you want. If you want to pick any, also.
Okay.
If you which one you want to pick, if any of them. Okay, so I'm glad you're open minded. It was also to show you, if you want to pick one first or second or third or fourth, whatever you know. All right, the first one. The first one you already know. Michael Jordan fans are the worst NBA fans. The second topic, I'm an independent. I've never voted for any side, never given money to any political party. I hate the electoral college system. But over the years, I've come to the conclusion that in general, Republicans are worse than Democrats. The third topic for you, every time you go out and you buy meat, cheese, milk, or pretty much anything that comes from an animal, you're giving your money literally to an industry that's torturing and killing animals. And the last and final topic, when a guy turns 16, 17, 18, around that number, those numbers, do you know any religion or anywhere in science, because most people, they learn things from religion and science or science, do you know any religion or science that explains anything that where they basically go, once a guy turns this age, he is no longer supposed to be attracted to other girls that age then. Those are my topics for you. Or those ages then.
Why would he not be attracted?
I'll give you an example.
So I think I know what Michael wants to talk about, but yeah, I'm happy to talk about any of these subjects. These will all these are all very entertaining to me.
No, Jake doesn't
Some YouTubers, by the way, are scared. They won't touch some of these topics. So
I'll touch all of them. You want
And
to like the
depends,
answer,
depends,
but I'll
it
touch all
depends
of them.
on how off the rail. You can go pretty off the rails on some of these topics, but
well, just so you know,
depends.
one of the reasons I bring up these topics is not just, of course, to entertain and inform. I'm always
Are you
fascinated by.
vegan?
I'm always fascinated by human beings who will always say to people, "I go by facts. I don't go by opinions. I go by the information and all that garbage." And then you show them something where you're going by straight facts, no opinions, and they'll either have to admit they're not going by facts, or they'll have to admit something that they don't feel comfortable to admit them.
I 100% agree. I
I'm
100%
your
agree.
Huckleberry.
If you there's no reason to go on rants about things that you don't know anything about. Or before you go on a rant about it, say you don't know anything about it. Be honest.
Well,
There's no reason. There's no reason to say that.
Can we start on the libtard question, or do we go on the vegan question?
The libtard question.
By the way, when he said libtard, that's another example why, in general, Republicans are worse than Democrats. Whenever you don't agree with them,
and
they're
from the
libtards.
question itself, it already implied your position, so I already knew where you were at on that point. And on the other one as well. Because the question itself was leading.
No, you don't, because I clearly said to you in the beginning, I've never voted for anybody. I don't donate to anyone. I'm an independent, and I hate the electoral college system.
It was a great intro. It was my favorite.
Right.
No one's had an intro like that. I appreciate it.
The reason I did that, by the way, the reason I did that to the guy with the hat on, the reason I did that is because I knew if any of you disagreed, your first reaction, just like when you said LeBron James, it would be liberal, far left, left-wing loon, libtard kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm the ones that hate Republicans right now.
So there's
So I failed 2 out of 4 questions. So I'm about to fail the other 2. All right, let's go.
By the way, the guy on the right, you're a pretty emotional guy, man. You mind just taking down a little, just going by facts and information?
If facts and information help, but intuition, emotion, and judgment usually take you.
I can tell. The universe galaxy is very big into semantics, and I'm not saying that you're doing like you're not messing with us. You're not being like secretive about it.
Nope.
But there's very strict definitions of everything that you're talking about.
I know.
No, they're not strict definitions. They're cultural abbreviations. This guy's absolutely right.
And I appreciate what you said.
Prove exactly what he's been talking about.
Yeah, it's not that I'm strict. I want people to understand the difference between you're wrong because of your opinion versus you're wrong because of facts. There's a difference.
Yes.
No, there isn't, because the facts can be chosen as well.
Then they're not.
I don't believe
somebody you're wrong.
So I'm 100. So this is one thing most of the people on my channel might not agree with, but the one thing that I've always been advocate about is your personal truth isn't always the truth. It's not always the truth. It could be your own truth. That's fine, but that doesn't make it the truth. It doesn't make it the reality.
It's just a perspective.
You could believe it 100%, and I'm not saying that you don't believe it 100%. But what I'm saying is, what all my channel is me getting other people's perspectives of their realities. But I know it's their reality. Right. Like I have to realize that it doesn't necessarily make it my reality just because they told me the story. I'm learning more about how they feel about what they've gone through, but that's why I try to make it very specific.
Right.
Plus, about torturing animals, it's not necessarily torture, because I actually had in the translating thing that I did.
Are we talking about factory farming now?
Yeah. Well, factory farming can be problematic.
However, that's not torture. I hate to know what torture is.
So
hold on, sir. It depends on factory farming is wrong completely, and I agree to that. Now, my grandfather had 125 head of cattle. That's not the factory farming to where these animals are cooped up, pinned up, and fed hormones and everything else. No, this is grass fed, natural beef. Now,
torture
as a
comes in different ways. Torture comes in different ways.
Yeah, I understand.
But Michael, are you talking about how you grew up on a farm, or are you talking about if you go to a store now?
Both are obviously. Factory farming is worse, as he just said. His grandfather's farm wasn't as bad, but just because one guy has less slaves and less torture doesn't mean he doesn't have slaves and he's not torturing them.
My grandfather wasn't torturing these cows.
I can
These
give you
cows were happy and free and roaming wherever they wanted.
Did you ask the cows if they were happy?
I usually did when I was a kid, yeah.
And I bet you they said we're more than happy.
They said we're good.
Right. By the way, you know what they used to do in the old days? Nowadays when they take the sperm out the cow to get them pregnant, you know what they used to do in the old days? Your grandfather's a farmer, so you should probably know this. You know how they used to get the sperm out the cow?
Jack them off.
Yeah, to jack them off. Yeah.
And then they manually inseminate them too.
But I guess if you sedate an animal and force it to get hard and jerk it off, I guess that's not torture.
The universe galaxy.
The cows were free.
The universe galaxy. You mind if I ask what region of the U.S. you are from, or if you're from outside the U.S.?
That's a good question. I hope you understand, because my page is very popular. I have to be really careful about giving personal information.
Yeah, I don't want any addresses or anything.
North America,
like
Canada, U.S.
I understand that. I tell this to everybody. Whenever someone asks me what part of America, what region, what time zone, anything they ask me, I never tell them personal information. I don't give any clues.
Okay, I didn't know if it was.
I hope you understand. I hope you understand.
I understand.
Can I guess why you were asking me? Can I take a guess?
So I failed question 2. Now can I fail?
Hold on one second. Let me get in there. We're not gonna go through the whole list yet.
No, because I can't argue with jacking a cow off is torture, because fuck, I would have loved it when I was a kid if somebody jacked me off.
Right, but would you like it if you got forced to get pregnant multiple times and separate your babies and you went crazy because it kept happening to you over and over, and then when you couldn't do it, they killed you?
That would be The Handmaid's Tale, and that would be the reality for many human beings for thousands of years during our existence.
No, the monkeys a million years ago, they weren't forcing cows to get pregnant.
I'm not talking about the monkeys a million years ago. I'm talking about the Egyptians 3,000 years ago. I'm talking about the Chinese 2,000 years ago.
You didn't say 3,000. You said that's been happening for history. You didn't say 3,000.
Thousands of years ago. I said thousands for thousands of years.
And I'm telling you right now,
I didn't go back to the monkeys because I don't believe in that shit either.
Of course you don't. Thousands of years ago, they were not forcing animals to get pregnant. That's bullshit.
Cattle raising at a factory farm level did not start until America started.
What they used to do in the old days, when they wanted to kill animals to eat to survive, they actually went out there, killed it, skinned it, gutted it, and then went through the horrible shit that they had to survive. You're comparing what Egyptians did, and assuming that they'd always been doing this for a long time.
But raising animals has always been a thing, though, as well as for food. We didn't do it where we were making them breed.
That's what I was talking about as humans.
And by the way, the breeding is.
We contained the animals, and then they would reproduce by themselves, but we couldn't force them to yet.
Oh no, you had to, because when you give birth to a cow, just like this guy's grandfather, when the calf is born, you can't keep them together because they'll take the milk, and that milk is for you to eat cookies and cream ice cream.
No, but they have to take some of the milk, because otherwise the cow will stop producing the milk.
Right.
They have to be suckling.
Yeah,
so they have to get the milk, and they get their fill.
I didn't say
we got the extra, and actually the cats and the dogs and everybody else got the extras because the cow produces a lot of fucking milk.
I never said they starve the cow to death. Of course, they want the cow to get some nutrition, but they have to separate the babies because it's important for you to have cream.
They actually don't.
They actually stay together, buddy.
I gotta jump in here. So I live in the Midwest, and I have plenty of farms around me. And I don't think they treat animals well. And I've watched them drag animal bodies out of there's a pig farm right down the street from me, not too far away. There's
you know the information, yeah.
But they don't necessarily separate. I mean, there's all different levels of farming. especially when it comes to animals. I don't think any of them necessarily have it right. I mean, we were talking about this earlier on a different show. We were talking about zoos. I don't think there's any purpose of having a fucking zoo anymore.
I agree.
We know that SeaWorld didn't work. We know zoos don't work. You wonder, we were talking, I brought up why endangered species are no longer producing with each other in captivity. They don't want to be there anymore.
Right.
They don't want to reproduce with each other. They just don't want it to be involved.
That's right. But by the way, just so you know, even though there's different levels, not all farmers are the same. I give you that.
Yeah.
But there's two things you have to understand.
But I don't think any form of farming a creature is okay. Like I said, none of them have it right, but they're all at different levels. Like I've learned, so I used to work for a factory company where I built robots that placed eggs in cartons. I built basically just had to design. While I did the maintenance side of designing them, I fabricated most of it, and so when we were going to these places where they had the chickens that were hatching the eggs, we asked them, like, why don't you have free range chickens? Like, everybody talks about free range chickens are the best. Like,
grandma's free range chickens, she takes care of them today.
Shit out of each other. They're so you can't have them in large groups,
right?
Because it doesn't happen in nature,
right? Well, when they say free range and happy cows come from California and all that shit, what they're doing is they're making improvements to make humans feel better. The free range and all that.
Well, it's just wording.
It's wording to sell for money. It's a business, so they want the humans to feel better, to have less guilt. But at the end of the day, even if they're out in the open, even if they have less cages, even if there's improvements, they still do other things that are tortured. And even if you say, I don't think it's torture, at the end of the day, they all get killed.
Hey, at the end of the day, we all die.
Right, but you have a choice. No one's going to eat you for ice cream.
I don't know. There's an island to where they pretty much did that.
Right, but they don't.
Before we start getting into island talk, I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna switch the video. Let's see. I had another one pulled up. The only thing that sucks is unless I download these ones, I can't swap them as fast as my other videos. These ones are screen shares, so I have to disconnect the other screen share and bring this one up and blah, blah, blah.
Hold on 1 second.
All right. Oh, everybody's joining me. I appreciate it, guys.
It's because we love you, Jacob.
Oh, well, I don't usually do very many day ones because I don't know who's going to be around.
I'm always around, Jacob.
I appreciate it.
Hi, Apple.
Hello.
It's weird. I'm actually having a good day today, and I'm not used to this.
Yeah, I can say the same. I took a couple of days where I just kind of wasn't on the internet that much for the last couple of days. It helped me out a little bit.
All need it once in a while.
Every once in a while, a little pullback.
I'm not used to seeing it late where you are right now, April. Usually it's like really dark because we work at night. Are you working tonight too?
Yeah, I know. It's 3 in the afternoon.
Right.
And I'm doing doubles today and tomorrow.
Oh, so you're working tonight too then?
Yeah.
Oh, that's annoying. Well,
Oh
hey,
yeah,
you know
you
what?
said you did a couple days of it in a row.
Yeah, so last night was a regular shift. Today and tomorrow's a double. But then I'm off until the rest of the week. So
we're gonna have to get you like a martini, double shot of martini or something after your shift.
That's just gonna put me to sleep.
That's not a bad
Yeah,
thing.
I don't.
I was just reading the comments and I was like, this is so interesting. How are you doing? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, the problem is, and it's funny how like they think that it's this one community, but meanwhile we got 45 grabbing a hold of the flag, giving it love, giving it attention, The problem is the psyop, it seems. We deal with a lot of psyops. Co-created things to destroy the mind and push you to go do stuff, like what happened. And then try to play innocent. And, I mean, yeah, I do believe that some of it was a little bit, looked at, too far. You know what I mean? Like, I think they should just drop it all. I mean, and move on. We got other, and that's the thing. We got other important things going on in this world.
Well, the last thing we need to be doing is spending our time bashing others. There's so many problems in the world to worry about. The last thing we need to do is be taking down others in any other sense, whether it's I don't know. I just feel like the last thing we need to do is censor speech, and the last thing we need to do is bash others, because you're going to get other people's bad ideas presented when you don't when you don't censor speech. And then when they get their ideas presented, we get to do something like we're doing today, where we get to discuss why we thought that was a bad idea, why we are not against things that are being presented to us. And like I said, as a presenter, I have to, if any of those views ever get expressed again on my channel, I'm going to have to do something about it. And exactly. I've made that clear to all the parties involved, and that's the biggest move I can make. And that's why I wanted to give people this free platform where, at least on my channel, where you can at least express your full ideas. And sadly, that fully happened the other day, and I felt like I knew how that person was feeling, and I was like, oh well, that just shows me that we are not in the same mindset about a lot of things. But at the same time, I don't just like the person. I don't hate them for their thoughts. I don't know if it's because of nature, nurture, or just I can't even put a finger on how someone would come to that conclusion. But what I can do best is say it's not allowed here, and I don't support that, and I can't have it on here.
Right. And it's funny, I really like the man, I really do, but I find a lot of contradictory going on. First of all, I'm highly into politics. I know it's all, I
was talking to you about this. I was talking to you about this earlier, Rocco. Do you think it's fair? Do you think it's fair to say that somebody else's story might not fully add up, and to be able to question them online without them present?
Correct.
That's why if there's anything that I haven't addressed to Pena, that I haven't addressed to him offline, I wouldn't do it offline. I mean, I wouldn't do it online without him here. I would say the same things I'm saying right now to him, to his face. That's just, I've always been like that. So I wouldn't question his politics or anything else without him here, or his beliefs on other things. That's just me trying to be fair.
Yeah, and Jacob, I want to ask him real quick here, and what you were saying earlier. Now, this is tough for me to say, so I might sound like a sort of a hypocrite when I say this, but you really can't take control of your guest. Like, what your guest is going to say is what your guest is going to say. Like, if he says something wrong in this case or another time down the road, like you really can't take responsibility for how someone else is feeling, and that's something I've had to learn in my life.
No, I feel responsible for presenting them, and there's a certain level of control on my end where I can mute people But at the same time, I do want to have this open platform, and I do want people to understand why I feel the way I do. It's not because I feel like somebody's saying something that's either, usually the only time I ever censor people is honestly things that I don't think are allowed on YouTube. And that's usually what I try to do. And that to me is something that is probably not allowed on YouTube, what he said.
Yeah.
Like that to me was super inappropriate. Like there's a balance to freedom of speech when you're using other people's platforms. And I have to respect that as well. I'm a big constitutionalist. I do think people should have the right to say what they, whatever they want. I don't think hate speech is a thing in this country, and I'm happy to say that. But at the same time, be ready for what you say to have retaliation. If you say some bullshit to people, be ready for them to come back at you, because you just did that. Like there's going to be actions to what you just did, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't think they're going to come from the government.
No, probably not. Probably not.
I think people are just lost in the wrong areas in the media, like listening to the wrong things, and they get sucked into it and they believe it all, and then nothing ever happens. This is what I'm so tired of. What I talk about is the truth, and it's so sad because there's only videos, there's only testimony. There's no actual evidence to my claims other than what I can tell you from what I remember and some witnesses to those claims. So,
and that's why I've always told you, Rocco, all I can do is take what you tell me at face value. I would never tell you you were a liar unless you give me a reason to. That's not what my channel's about. I'm not here to prove people's stories wrong or anything like that. Like that's not my job. If people hearing your story on my channel want to make their own conclusions, that's their job. But mine is to get your story out. I want to hear what you got to say. You know what I mean? It's not my job to tell people what to and what to not say. But Zachary, Zachary was asking about an interview that we had to take offline. He witnessed it live. I don't know if you remember. There was something that was said on that live, and it was with Mr. Pena, and it was with Michael McIntosh, that I didn't think was YouTube appropriate. And I had talked to Zachary Kim about it. I actually have another person I'm gonna start talking to about trying to figure out how to edit some of this old content that I have. Well, it's not old content. I have a lot of content that's just like probably 36 hours that's sitting private that I have to get edited because I don't know how to edit. So
my video.
There's a chance that somebody said something bad on any interview that's not up, and that's why it's not up. And there was one where I might have been on like 5 hits of acid, and I did an interview with like.
I know.
I ended up taking that one down because actually somebody said something bad in it, not because I thought I was doing a bad thing. Sorry, just popped in the chat. Let me.
Jacob, I was actually in.
Another guest with us.
Hey.
Yeah, I was in CPS at 14 years old.
Harry, are you on the chat for YouTube?
I can be.
Yeah, you're one of my few moderators that I think that I have on there, and it's getting a little wild in there.
Is it?
I don't speak different languages. So
okay.
Oh. So yeah, I'm just kind of going through and catching up with things.
All right. Well, I was just gonna say that something really interesting happened during the break, where as soon as you took a break, I went outside, and right outside, right there, it appeared right in front of me, bright, beautiful rainbow, and
nice.
Picture. So
nice. Well, it correlates with the last thing we were talking about, because you seem to have a tendency of finding good rainbows.
It's interesting. This is like the third or fourth time this year that I just so happen to be at the right place at the right time where a rainbow just appears right out of the sky. And I sent you a private Facebook message just here within the past couple of minutes just to kind of prove it, that here it is, time stamped and all. So I just thought that was so interesting.
Hey, thanks, guys. If you guys can, Tiffany and everybody else that just popped in, if you guys can keep an eye on the chat, it's getting a little wild. I might have to. I don't want to shut down the live chat, but might have to. Yeah, I don't. A lot of fun. Jim, you got some nice guitars behind you. We have another guest I wanted to pop on. But Jim, talk to us a little bit in the private chat. What did you want to come on and talk about? We're just kind of chatting with some of our regulars here. Oh, thank you, Maria. I appreciate it. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Divine Tiffany, we were just talking about you.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means,
Thank you.
but you got to give me a little more context than that. And you're showing no reactions on this picture that I see. The camera is wavering a little bit.
Yeah, we were complimenting her on her readings that she was giving last night.
Amazing
Tarot card readings.
Is what I hear. I got to go back and do the replay. Tiffany, you got some amazing comments from all your work last night.
Absolutely, it's spot on. I believe my card was like the 7 of Cups, I believe, where I was given just so many choices and this is very true because right now I have several wrestling promotions who are very interested in bringing me in, and they're literally fighting over me. I can't make a decision where I actually want to go this Saturday. I have no idea. So, but it's a good problem to have. And Tiffany gave me some insight with the card that she pulled and with what she said. It's really going on in my experience that I'm going through right now in my life. Tiffany, you're spot on. Also, my compliments on how you just simply showed the card. You held it right up to the camera so I could look at it, see the details on it, and share with you on that. You showed the reverse so I could see that too. That's very important. Slowing down and taking the time to make that connection with who you're speaking with, even if it is across the camera and everything. So again, Tiffany, thank you so much. Now that you're here, thank you again. Many blessings.
Sorry, I don't mean to diminish that. So there's somebody on the background that has a cardboard cutout. And just to prove it to me that it wasn't a cardboard cutout, I said blink twice. And they started making the cardboard cutout dance around their screen. And there's a microphone in front of it. I assume it's not a positive vibe. But thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun so far. I cannot complain. Oh gosh.
No, people just do some funny things.
Well, I'm glad I'm slowly getting big enough where I can actually bring this much attention. Some guy in his guitar shop just felt like he had to.
All right, that's enough of that one. Let's see. I think this one should be funny. I don't know. I haven't seen this one in who knows how long. So let's give it a whack. These two guests can't go bad together. This may be the first time I've seen these two guests.
Oops. I think you should give the American people more credit than to elect somebody who seems like a very, undesirable person to have in office. I mean, from what I hear, I think, if he's as bad as some people have said, then what makes anybody think that the American people are going to let him become the president? Are we that stupid? No, I don't think so. So,
is that you, Granny?
Yeah, that's me.
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm all right, man.
There's like 5 people that popped into. There's like 5 people that popped into the stream now. Pastor Frank, I usually make people kind of talk to us a little bit before. I know the 3 people that are up here, well, including myself, for the 2 people that are up here. And so, yeah, just talk to us in the chat a little bit. Let's get to know you, and then I might be able to let you on at a later point. I just get in too much trouble just letting randoms on. Same with Willie and Charlie Reed. Nothing personal, guys. I've gotten my channel taken down just letting anybody on. But I think I've seen Pastor Frank before. Yeah, no, it's nice of you to be on camera. You're the first person that came on camera most of the time in the background. Everybody else has a different name. And let's see, actually, I didn't even look at your name yet. Let's see what you're certified as. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got a fake name, Rick Barry Baumer on YouTube. So yeah, Pastor Frank's not coming on. I don't like it when people have different names either. Read a fake.
Tell you what, Jacob, if some people find out that I'm here, they're definitely gonna flood your shit. So I would like
Patrick Star. Yeah, no, all you guys got fake names. Sorry, you guys are on your own. But
how I how I roll. There's some people that really do not enjoy me right now. So
yeah, there's always somebody trying to troll or do something weird.
Well, I mean, it's not like I don't deserve it. No, let's not be fucking wild. Let's not get crazy here. I deserve it.
I don't know if you've met Mike McIntosh, have you?
I have not. How's it going tonight, Mike?
Pretty good. How are you?
Oh, fuck, dude. I've been better, man. I just had to I hate killing shit. I had to kill a raccoon. Trying to get into my fucking house and shit. Other than that, I had to track it and it treat itself. And you might be able to still fucking hear it, dude. I wanted to. Shit sucks, man, but I can't let fucking raccoons in the house. You know what I mean? It tried to fucking pry my door open.
Raccoons get on my back porch. Mom would just chase them off with a broom.
Yeah, well, that broom was called some buckshot, unfortunately.
I wish I could say the same. I shot at one thing when I was in Florida. Somebody had me shoot at an iguana because I was watching the property. I had a BB gun, and they had me shooting at an iguana. And I was like, dude, those things get as small as as big as dinosaurs out there. They're next level size.
They're really, they don't really even get that big. I guess where you're from, you don't see lizards and shit that often, but dude, there's big.
Oh yeah, no, they roam around on the ground like ants.
Well, that's only in the South. They're not really where I'm at. But I probably
Fort Lauderdale, and they were running around. They were running around all over the ground in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's Southern Florida. It's basically fucking a whole different thing. I've heard of this Michael McIntosh guy. Can you explain yourself?
Yeah. You probably heard of him from Andre and Zachary Kim. He's the one who said McIntosh 2024.
Oh, okay. So you're the one that's going to be president?
3 times.
All right. I'm not being adversarial, man. I'm very tired. I'm working through this Benadryl. So, my name's Granny, by the way. I don't know if you've heard of me. Not a lot of people have. That's here nor there. Rocco's a big fan of mine.
Not yet, but nice to meet you.
Rocco's what?
A big fan of mine.
I don't know about that.
That was very sarcastic. Rocco hates my fucking guts.
I was gonna say he's not a friend of mine either.
All right, so Michael, you seem like you have your head on your shoulders a little more than they do. I'm not saying that they don't, but can you explain to me some of this shit? And I may try to break it down with some quantum theory. So don't get upset if I do that.
Quantum theory. Well, I could certainly talk about that also. Well, yeah, basically, in a nutshell, our government knows, and people associated with the government know, through technological advancements that allow them to look into future events.
All right.
Who the presidents will be in the future.
All right.
And
are they upset with you about becoming the president in the future?
I don't. That's neither here nor there to me. The fact of the matter is that when I was 5 or 6 years old, I was able to access this information, and it was basically buried in my memory until my adult life, when I was able to, because of an injury that I had, I went through a memory regression therapy sessions to help me recover from my trauma. I was
Do
able
you mind
to,
if I ask what the incident is before you go any further?
What? Yeah, I got hit by a drunk driver in New York, and I got injured, and so I had to go through this whole therapy process, and all the way up, physical therapy, and all the way up to psychological therapy, and part of that was regression therapy, where I had to regress through all of the traumatic experiences in my lifetime and figure out what they were and face them, and that was to help me to heal from past traumas so I could move forward in my life.
How old were you when you did that?
When that happened, when I started doing that, I would have been, I guess, about, what is it now, 2022? You're talking, I have a notebook, actually. I can tell you the exact date when I started doing
No,
that.
that's good. That doesn't, just roughly, approximate.
I have a notebook. It was a few years ago, like 3, 4, 5 years ago now at this point.
And that's when you started the regression therapy?
That's correct, yeah. And when I started doing the regression therapy, I remember this experience that I had when I was a little kid, where I was used in one of these projects.
The Montauk project?
No, it was a different project. I don't know anything about Montauk, but okay. That's somebody else. That's somebody else's thing. But I was used in one of these projects to determine who would be the presidents up to a certain point. And I was very surprised to find out that I was one of them.
Now, let me ask you this. Does the
Yeah.
government have access to time travel?
The government. Yes.
Or do people
and no.
that wouldn't want you to be president have access to time travel?
People who don't want me to be president. The government does, and the government doesn't. It depends on which part of the government you're talking about. And the government's a very large entity, so some of it has things and some of it doesn't. It's not just.
But would they be upset with you talking about this? I mean, what I'm trying to get at is if they have access to it, how are you still alive if they don't want you there?
Why would nobody? That's all up to discussion, and nothing I know anything about. So
yeah, we're just having a discussion. Again, don't take me the wrong way. I just have questions.
If people don't want something to happen, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So it doesn't really matter.
No, but the government or whoever controls the world is notorious.
Let me give you another analogy, Granny. If there was said people out to get him, don't you think there would be said people out to protect him?
Yeah, it just seems like a big John Connor fucking deal. It seems like damn near the plot from Terminator 2. Again, I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, but like, yeah, they probably would, but I feel like there would be some evidence of that.
Sure. And maybe you just haven't seen any evidence, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
All right. How old are you? You said this upcoming presidency?
I'm 47. I'm 47 at the moment. I will be 49 and 50 when the next election is happening.
So at least you'll be older than JFK.
That's not important to me at all.
Well, I know. I'm just saying he was like the youngest president. I'm just because technically that would make you pretty young to be a president as well.
That's really all completely irrelevant to me as well. Age means nothing to me. But I think it's more interesting the fact that we know who the presidents are going to be, and I'm just trying to get that fact out to people. That
who wins 2024?
I do.
You do? What about 2028?
I won't be running. I won't be running for a second term at that point, but a young woman by the name of Yolanda Renee King will be president for 4 years.
When does that happen?
She's a relative of Martin Luther King, right?
Yeah, she's a descendant of Martin Luther King, and after her for 8 years, it will be a man by the name of Andrew Basiago, who is well known as currently he's a Washington State lawyer, but I worked with him in the past as well, with Barack Obama. After him, it will be.
You've met Barack Hussein Obama?
Yeah, we've worked together. In fact, he worked for me, but so that's kind of funny. But in 2040, it will be Arnold Schwarzenegger for 4 years is going to be the president of the United States.
But he's not an American-born citizen.
You're missing the point. In 2044, it will be a woman by the name of Ann Coulter.
You're throwing, dude. This is
no.
You just threw Ann Coulter into the presidency.
A little more backstory on that, Granny.
Hold on. She is literally the crypt keeper.
But think about. Do you know who Ann Coulter is running against?
I'm sure I will in a second.
Andre Little is also running in 2044.
Oh shit! So Andre is gonna lose to Ann fucking Coulter. She's probably one of the most hated fucking. She's not even a politician. What does she even do? She had a talk show.
In 2048, we're going to have a president by the name of Alex Jones.
Okay, dude. Now you're getting fucking a little off the rails here. You just went Ann Coulter into Alex Jones.
Who's not the one predicting all these things either? By the way, these are things you can go look up. They're on Apex TV.
I'm sure they are.
In 2052, we're going to have a president by the name of Alexander Michael McIntosh for 8 years. He's also my son, strangely.
Yeah, I felt like there was a connection there. I was going to ask, but you already beat me to it.
In 2060? We're going to go 2060 by that point. And that will be a young woman by the name of Emmeline Grace McIntosh, who is my daughter. In 2068, it will be me again.
Hold on, you lived through all this, and you're going to be like 85 fucking years old.
I'm going to be like a 90-something probably, yeah.
And you're rolling back into that motherfucker for a third term.
Well, it looks like we're all going to live longer in this century, so you're going to have old people who kind of look like they're young because healthcare is going to advance and everything like that. So.
Let me ask you something, Michael. Mm-hmm. What happens if you don't win it in 2024? Where does that leave you?
What if, What if the Titanic didn't sink? What if Adolf Hitler died as a baby or whatever?
I get that. Let's just say let's just say that the possibility is there. I get that you don't believe that, but what if the possibilities there and you aren't president in 2024? Where do you go from that? Do you reconsider your ideals?
I'll just keep being a world famous rock star, so it'll be fine for me. I don't know about you guys, but
where are you world famous at? I've never heard of it.
I guess you don't like music, so.
I mean, no, I love music. What kind of music do you play?
He's got his own record label, and he plays all kinds of music.
And
own band.
Let's see, 2068, 2068, I will be president again. In 2072, I will be president again. Somehow we're going to have a law change where the term limits are changed. We're also going to have a law change where the age limit for this is going to be reduced.
What's your record label called so I can look it up?
I've got it for them.
No, but what's the most successful one? What's the one that made you world famous? I'd like to look.
Ooh, Lines in the Sky.
The band is called Young Astronaut Club that made me world famous. But, I have a bunch of different.
I would say that's one of the bigger hits.
I mean, again, I am an adversarial asshole, especially online. So, and I'm
you're just a kid, You're just a kid. I don't blame you. What are you, like 23 or something?
You wish. The Young Astronauts creates digital experiences for brand engagement. We believe that brands. Is that you?
And no, that's not me. And let's see, 2076. Right. I figured out who the presidents are all the way up to 20.
The Young Astronauts on Instagram.
I don't know.
The Young Astronauts Club is the name of it.
The Young Astronauts Club. All right.
And 2076 will be a woman by the name of Crystal McIntosh.
I don't want to dox you, but are you from the north or northeast?
I don't care if you dox me. I'll come to your house, break your nose.
All right. Wow, you're getting a little aggressive. Hopefully you don't flash in with your time machine. But music group from Boston, Massachusetts, United States of America. I do. If it's world famous, it should be in this top 5, and I'm just not seeing it.
Threatening to dox people is not.
I didn't threaten you. I said I didn't want to do that, and then you said
you
go
didn't
ahead.
want to. Is that? Are you implicating something? Are you implying something?
Do you watch my shows? Are any of these yours? 1914 Havana.
I don't know if there's some kind of crossover. I can't hear what each other's saying. There's like little cutouts. I can't really hear what.
Give me something that makes you world famous, please.
Well, no,
anything, because I can't find it through
a lot of people. A lot of people across the world listen to his music.
That's fine. A lot of people across the world listen to mine too. That doesn't make me famous.
Listen, I don't really care. What I'm talking about is the fact that our government knows who the presidents are going to be 100 years in advance. And I think that's more important than my music group. Don't you?
So what you're saying is that your government's a plant from the future?
No. What I'm saying is that our government
know that you're going to be president.
Knows who our presidents are going to be all the way up to 2082 at this point.
So you don't believe in free will whatsoever. So you're telling me you do believe in free will?
Well, free will is
and please, hey, listen, before you start, don't threaten to break into my fucking house again, all right, and break my nose. That's just not cool, man. I'm not threatening to dox you. With your band, I didn't want to go through the whole biography to put where it was from. I just wanted the information. So I apologize for that.
Well, I'm not apologizing for defending myself in the face of a threat. So if
it wasn't a threat. It wasn't a threat. I said I didn't want to say where you were from.
No, I think that might have been misinterpreted. I think he was asking. He said, "I don't want to say the actual state, so I'm going to say a region." And he said, like the Northeast. I think.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to find this world famous music.
But I agree. You probably shouldn't use the word dox.
Well,
You probably
yeah,
shouldn't
you're
threaten
right.
to dox people. You
Yeah,
probably
I'm not.
shouldn't
I would.
threaten to.
I'm not gonna dox any. I'm not. Again, this is. That's for whatever reason. It's in my vocabulary right now.
Right. But you know,
there's no
you
threat.
probably shouldn't. You probably shouldn't threaten to dox a presidential candidate on the internet unless you really do want people to show up at your house. And
I didn't
wouldn't be the
threaten
one
to
doing
do
it,
that,
so.
man. I was trying to protect your location and look for this world famous fucking band that you're supposedly a part of.
I don't really care if you protect my location or talk about my band. I'm talking about the United States presidency, which is far more important.
Okay, and you're not a presidential candidate. I'm not. If you just said I was threatening a politician. You're not one.
I'm a presidential candidate.
No, you're not.
Yeah, yes, I am.
But then, okay, show me some paperwork to prove so, because you would have that.
I don't need to show you anything to prove that I'm a presidential candidate.
You're right, because you're lying.
You don't have to file to be a presidential candidate.
You can look me up on the internet and see
It
that
still doesn't make you a politician.
You can look on the internet.
What makes somebody a politician? What makes somebody a politician?
Recognition, like some people in the party know who they are.
Well, no, because I think that recognition doesn't guarantee political status. Look at when Donald Trump ran, they said he ran because he's not a politician.
Can I tell you
See,
something?
this is why I don't like to do this with people like this, because I'm about to trigger this dude's fucking autism hard as shit. All right,
You're really funny.
I know.
What do you like? 24?
A lot of people say that. No, you said that before. You tried 23.
Looks don't matter that much, so don't worry.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. Would I be looking like this on air if I gave two fucks? Let's ask ourselves that.
Probably.
No, I really don't. I don't care what anybody thinks about me.
I think you care too much.
All right. Keep taking your jabs. Michael McIntosh. Let's see what comes up. Just on a Google search. Michael McIntosh. I'm going to go ahead and link it to.
You really shouldn't threaten to dox people, though. I'm
not, dude. I'm looking up your information that you're claiming to be world famous for. Let's see, pediatric research. Oh, this one's from my town, Ocala, Florida. Football roster. Let's see. Maybe that's your Facebook. Not going there. I'm just trying to find information on you that you claim is all over, and I can't find any of it. Are you a Yamaha artist?
What? What were you looking for?
Anything that he's claiming. Anything that he claims. Where's the record label? Any of that. All that should be public information.
I said he has his own record label, and I said he was in a band, and I said the name of the band is. If you want me to share you links to the stuff, I can share you links to it.
Yeah, please, because I can't find them.
They've got a YouTube channel. They've got other stuff. He's got his own website. It just depends on where you're looking. I don't know how easy they're going to come up on a major search.
And if it was world famous, it should be top 5. That's all I'm saying.
In Ocala, Florida?
Yeah. You want my address to break my nose? I'll give you that too in the DM.
I already know where you live.
It's fine with me. I have nothing to hide.
The Grand Wizard. I don't know your name.
My name's TJ Fox. TJFOX.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, that's good to know. That'll make.
All right. How about it?
Have you gotten any calls on security lately? We really don't like threatening to dox presidential candidates.
I never did. I never did.
Well,
I actually told you I didn't want to read something from the state that it listed that might be associated with you. And I used the wrong word, and now you're fucking fixated on that, just like you are this time travel bullshit.
They have this conversation in the recordings.
Fine, I don't care. Wouldn't they have already time traveled and fucked me up? You don't understand how much fucking blatant disregard I have. Excuse me.
That's your problem, man.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, everybody tells me that.
Is that why you live with your mom still?
Nice dig. Yeah, it is.
I can tell.
Hey, Mom, go make me a fucking grilled cheese, you cunt. She's on it.
Wonderful. I hope you really don't vote for me.
Trust me, nobody will.
Well, unfortunately, you're wrong, because I really don't want to be your president either.
I don't recognize people. That's why I don't give them names. They're not people to me. They're just assholes in fucking suits.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, when I do become the president, I will not be working for you.
Yeah, I know. None of them do. You act like I've ever fucking voted.
You don't deserve someone to do anything for you.
To do what? Take the rest of my rights away? And then what are you gonna time travel and take the fucking future rights away when you're 97?
You're hilarious.
I know. We've been over this.
Mm-hmm. So are you always this much of a narcissist, or is it just this just a special occasion?
No, it's not special. Jacob, am I putting on a fucking fake here?
No, this is Granny all the time. Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna call you on
I kind of actually addressed this with Granny, and I don't know if he doesn't necessarily believe in time travel. I think he wants to believe in it, but he needs somebody to prove it to him. And
if you give me evidence, I will.
And I think he gets
but I don't really care. I don't really care to prove anything to you.
Oh no, I'm not saying you have to. No, I was just saying when I watched him go into prior interviews, it just seemed like he wanted somebody to prove time travel to him.
I'm not that concerned about the opinion of some guy on the internet who thinks he's, super awesome, when he's obviously a total loser nerd who lives with his mom.
Yeah, speaking of it, get on that grilled cheese, you fucking bitch. God damn, I asked for it 5 minutes ago.
Granny, I put that video in the private chat.
All right, let me give it a listen.
It's actually one of my favorites. That one I sent you.
Now, if this sucks, I'm going to say it. I hope you know that.
Well, I mean, it's your opinion. I mean, you can have your own opinion.
Nobody cares what your opinion is, actually.
Opinions are like assholes.
So, but that's what we were talking about is, you can
play it. It won't get copyrighted, Granny. You don't have to mute yourself. He does have the rights to all the music, I just didn't want to share it. It would have slowed me down.
No. This guy's being real by the book. I'm going to go ahead and listen to this on mute. I got to piss in.
What were you saying, Michael?
Can't remember.
Oh.
Mustn't have been that important.
It'll come back if it was.
It's probably just some opinion.
What'd you do over the 4th of July?
I told all of my English cousins to go screw themselves.
And why?
What about you?
Just for independence?
Just to remind them that, they don't run our country anymore. And that's how it is,
Well, I mean, I don't know. I still feel like they got their hands in the pot.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they do. But it's not like it used to be,
Oh yeah, it's far different than it used to be. But yeah, no, I do think they have more say so than a lot of people would think.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the United Nations in general.
Yeah, but the thing is, at this point, the United States actually does kind of take the lead in the way that maybe they used to. Like, we're taking the lead on their behalf at this point because we've come so far so quickly that they really do kind of need us to do that. And the UK and England is almost like, ever since they started losing their empire and virtually completely lost it in 1982, we've really kind of had to provide for their security and well-being in a lot of instances. And I think just to remind my cousins of that fact that, they're not in charge of the world anymore. And I do have English cousins,
Well, I bet they think the same thing about Americans most of the time when we're going to war.
Yeah, but
we're not supposed to police the world either.
But that responsibility has kind of fallen in the lap of the United States by default, really. And
I feel like if all of our debts were paid up, we wouldn't feel so responsible.
Yeah.
That's where the military strength kind of counterbalances it.
All right, I listened to it. It's not for me. I can see where people would like it, but 101 subscribers and 20 views doesn't make you world famous. So
nobody asked you for your opinion.
You're right, but I'm still gonna
nobody cares.
Say it.
Yeah, nobody cares. Go tell your mom.
Okay, I will.
I'm sure she cares too.
It's funny that you're this old and you think you're going to be a presidential candidate, and all you can do is say that I live with my mom. I mean, I could call you a bald fuck and who's that stupid cunt in the picture with you. I mean, I could say that.
But nobody cares.
You're right, except for you. It seems to be triggering your fucking Tourette's or autism or whatever, and I hate that. But you're being a real cocksucker.
No, it's just that your voice is
you threatened
just so
to break into
annoying.
my house and break my nose, buddy.
No, I asked if you wanted someone to come to your house and break your nose.
Sure. Let them come.
Okay.
Yeah. Let them come.
Well, then just keep threatening.
They better bring firepower is all I have to say.
Then just keep threatening to dox presidential candidates, and I'm sure
I didn't threaten to dox you. I tried to ask you what region you were from, so I didn't say your state, you fucking vapid moron.
Oh, really? Is that what you said?
Yes. Roll the tape back. You clearly don't have a memory. You let some therapist trick you into being a fucking time traveler as a kid or some bullshit because you got hit by some asshole that was drunk.
Yeah.
No, you just got fucked up as a kid, and it probably ruined your brain, and that's why you have these delusional thoughts.
Is that your trained professional opinion, or is that just the crappy Cuban cigar talking?
As somebody, it's not even a Cuban cigar. I'm too fucking white trash to smoke Cuban cigars. It's no, that is my full opinion that I have. And listen, if somebody let's do that. Let's go ahead and say that if somebody shows up to my house and breaks my fucking nose, I'll believe you. Fuck, I'll give you my address.
You don't even know who I am.
Oh boy. Are you getting drones now? It's no bueno. Let's see. I think I got. Do a funny one or a serious one? We'll do a serious one. We'll end with a funny one.
I wouldn't say a good guest, but a guest
Dude,
nonetheless.
man, you're a good guest. Don't act like that. None of that self-deprecating here.
Yeah, Gonzo called me a roach. So yes, for now, my name is the Internet Roach, Fat
The Internet Roach.
Ninja.
I don't know. Granny's pretty greasy. I feel like he's up there too. he's in the top 5 for Internet Roaches.
Yeah, you know what? It's all good. People got their own opinions. If you don't take them seriously, no harm, no foul.
Oh no, I love Granny because I think when he asks those questions, he's looking for validation himself. He's not actually looking to tell you that you're wrong about your opinion. He actually is trying to learn from him. And I think there's a difference between a troll and what Granny does. Granny will try to say he has detachment from it, I bet. But I think he actually has more involvement in it than he wants to admit. Like, I think he really does want some of these answers answered for him, no matter what topic it is.
Yeah. I mean, we all are that way. Any normal human being, they seek the truth, especially for things they don't quite understand totally. That's just how we are. That's how we're wired.
Yeah, everybody
McCormick,
else thinks you're a tremendous guest. Come on.
no, I it's just me being humble. I mean, I totally appreciate, people, saying, "Hey, I'm a good guest" and stuff like that. But that's just my way of staying humble because if you would have met me like maybe 30, 35 years ago, Jake, he'd be like, "Man, Ninja, he's a fucking dick. I don't want nothing to do with him." So,
people would have said the same about me and probably still say the same about me. I mean,
but
there's always people out there. I mean, we were talking about this earlier. There's always people out there that want to throw cloud at you and try to tell you aren't what you think you are or whatever, because they have their own disposition with the world and your views or whatever it happens to be. Like, and how much merit you put in their beliefs and their choices, and they could be at any point in their journey as well. So I mean, you got to look at the whole journey and make an assumption on the whole journey. If you do more good in life than bad, then you're on the right path, regardless of religious beliefs.
Right. Yeah, because nobody really remembers the beginning of your journey or the end. They remember everything that was in between, and that's what you gotta focus on. Because like when you die, hell, you don't know what's going on no more. You gone. So don't worry about that. So just worry about what you're doing right now. So yeah, definitely agree with that. So you said you had some questions for me, so go ahead, let them rip, and I'll answer them the best way I can.
The main one, and I was gonna pose this for you and Rev, was what are your thoughts on the scriptures that were taken out of the Bible? When it comes to, let me give a good example that I think a lot of people can relate to without getting into some of the books that nobody even knows about. There are books that nobody really knows about, but just the account of like the first woman. I think Lilith is overlooked in modern day Christianity, and I think she did play a significant role, but I think she was, in my point of view, a threat to the male dominance of the hierarchy system in religion.
Yep, and you're exactly right. Lilith plays more of a role than people try not to give her credit for, because like you said, it is a complete direct threat to the male dominated hierarchy, because the last thing a organization or whatever wants to do is to see a upstart or a rogue element or whatever, what have you, try to throw shade on what they're about, or, what they're trying to do. Because basically when you're in a cult, and most religions, you might as well call them what they are, they're cults. They try to fabricate stuff that will mislead you, keep you in the dark, because they want to treat you like mushrooms, keep you in the dark and feed you shit. I mean, that's just the way they do. And that's modern religion. That's just not back in the day. That's here, and business corporations and everything else, they all have the same agenda. They want to bend your ear and pick your wallet. So it's up to us, us people, to get together. It's like, hey, look, I don't believe in this, but don't be afraid to say, hey, I don't believe in this. I don't like this. And then you'll draw other people to you. And if you're true and honest, they'll see it too. So then y'all can have constructive conversations. That's the most important key word, constructive. Because like we can all get together and bitch about shit, right? But at the end of the day, nothing happens, nothing gets done. But if you can sit there and respect each other's opinions and ways of life and all that, then you start talking about stuff like that. Then you start saying, okay, here's a constructive conversation. And then hopefully we can all pull something from it to make us all better. Not just you, not just me, but anybody else that's involved. Just because, like I said earlier, we can't change the world, but at least we can change the things that come out of our mouths and our actions, portraying to other people. See, we can control that. We can't control what society thinks about us because, like when you smoke weed or whatever like that, people automatically have that preconceived notion. Oh, well, Jacob Waters is a horrible person because he smokes weed. Man, some of my best friends smoke weed, and they some of the most upstanding people, and they would morally bury your ass, by being true and honest. So you just,
Well, I mean, and I think that's a shortcut to thinking. When you're having a conversation with somebody and they go, "Oh, this person can't keep up because they're drinking alcohol," or "This person can't keep up because they smoke weed," or that is a shortcut to thinking for the simple fact that you're tapping out of the argument. You don't have a rebuttal, and now I'm going to try to attack your person rather than your argument itself. And this is the exact reason why I love talking politics with people is because I can play the devil's advocate. I like to hear both sides because I like people, whether it's religion, whether it's politics, whether it's anything, I'd like you to challenge your beliefs and either validify them for yourself or wonder why you believe the way you do. Because I want to better understand why people believe the way they do. That's why when I first talked to you, I said, hey, I just like talking to people, regardless of what their views, beliefs, or anything else are. I'll sit down and have a 2-hour conversation with anybody. I mean,
right.
it doesn't really matter who it is.
hmm Yeah, and religions are always saying, don't believe in science and stuff like that. I mean, I get that point, but good and evil always walk hand in hand because in the Bible, it tells you to make your own decisions, prove things to yourself. That means, basically in layman's terms, it means do your damn research. Don't believe what you hear, believe what you see. And if you don't see it, try to find it. And that's what the core principles of science is about, not Scientology, so don't get it twisted, but science itself. That's one of the main cores of science itself is to find out the truth, find out how things work. Because I mean, you got all types of people whose mindset is wired that they want to break stuff apart, find out how it works and how it goes back together. That's science.
Well, and I mean, it's anything. It's that seeking of knowledge that you don't have. Okay, if you have questions, seek the answers. Don't just be satisfied with what's put in front of you. Say, why is this the only answer I have?
Right.
I mean, because I always tell people that. I mean, you can look at. I think when you look at the balance between religion and science, God is often put at the point that science hasn't reached yet. And whether you're talking about creation, whether you're talking about the Big Bang, whether you're talking about anything, there's eventually a point where science hasn't reached it, and the goalpost eventually keeps getting moved because people want that knowledge, whether it's through science or whether it's through religion. They still look for those answers, and what maybe they'll go to religion for it, maybe they'll go to science for it. But whoever's offering those answers, that should be what people are seeking out, regardless.
Right. And that's that saying, necessity is the mother of all invention. And basically what that means, like, we have an issue, let's figure it out. So people put their minds together, or one person has a gigantic brainstorm and they come up with stuff. I mean, look at something as, okay, we look at a washer and dryer as something very common, but look back in the day, they didn't have that. And some people finally got tired of, like, man, I'm sick and tired of carrying my damn laundry down to the river to wash it out. So then they came up with the first, handmade washer, and then it evolved from there. And that's what religion is about. Like, your journey and find out about religion, it has to be a journey that keeps progressing forward. Because when you think there's a day in your life that you know everything, I got a news flash for you. You're fucking dead.
Yeah.
You will not be able to progress and evolve into something that you're supposed to be by having that type of mindset. You always have to be you have to thirst for the truth, not obsess over it, but just like, okay, what can I learn today? What person can I interact with that might give me something I'm searching for, I'm starving for? You know, we have to do that.
Well, and
You know,
I think truth has way too much merit to it. I think understanding people, like, because so many people come into a conversation with their feet in the sand already. They already have their own beliefs. They're not ready to listen to what you're saying. They're ready to respond to what you're talking about. And regardless, they're not taking it in. And if you could just go into a conversation and be like, I'm ready to hear this person out and hear what they have to say, that's how you actually get closer to what you would call your truth in life, like a better understanding of the world around you, and why people think the way they think and why they believe the way they believe. Because if you are not going in thinking, hey, I'm going to take in what this person's saying, there's no reason to show up.
absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely,
anybody can go online and sit in an echo chamber of people that believe their own ideas. That's
right,
easy to do. But
exactly,
to actually go and out of your comfort zone and talk to somebody about something that might not be comfortable to you, that's the risk that you're taking personally, and
right.
seeking more knowledge.
hmm Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been around people that straight up call me the N word to my face,
That's
and
fucked up.
but instead of being pissed off, being the stereotypical black man, punch him in the face, be all mad, which nothing ever gets done. Yeah, you're satisfied that you whoop somebody ass, but in the end, what does it do? So I flipped it on his head. I asked you, like, why'd you call me that? I would just like to know. And I wasn't being sarcastic. I truly wanted to know because everybody's got a reason why they feel a certain way about something. Like, you know, maybe they got beat up by a whole bunch of black people, or maybe a black person took a sought after job that they were going for. Whatever the reason is, I just want to know why. And like, even though I'm not that person, so why you holding it against me? Because all black people ain't that way, just like all white people ain't a certain way. Mexicans, Jewish people, what have you. There's good and bad in all of us.
Oh
And
no, I agree. Your rebuttal to anybody that says that it just should be as simple as, "Ooh, who hurt you in life?" Because somebody
right,
did. I
right,
don't know
right,
who it was, but it
right,
would help me to understand where you're coming from if you tell me who hurt you. Because
right,
I don't
right.
even know if you know when you say stuff like that. Like when people say stupid shit like that, you don't even know if they know the source of it.
hmm
It might be so ingrained from who knows how long that they don't even remember when it started.
Right, right. Absolutely. Okay, so what's the next question you got for me?
Let's see. Next question. I can relate a little bit to the last one that we were talking about. When you were talking about the progression, and we were talking about washer and dryers. Um, what are your thoughts of, like, the people that are heavy into following things as gluttony and sin when it comes to, like, modern amenities, whether it's like air conditioning, stuff like that? Do you think that's a misinterpretation of the Bible, or do you think, when somebody sits in their house and their house is set to 63 degrees and it's 90 outside, and they're just laying on their back naked eating Cheetos, do you think there's a there's a disconnect there, or do you think there's a certain level of, okay, you're beyond your own means here, you're actually you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing?
Okay, what? That's a lot of stuff to unpack. Well,
Yeah.
let's start with this. Okay, gluttony. All right. Now, once again, everything in this world is about perception, because if your perception is skewed either one way or the other, of course you'll think a certain way. But if you look at it from a neutral standpoint, okay, the person that's trying to save money on the air conditioning is like, they're probably sweating their balls off, but they trying to save some money. Some people could look at that as being cheap, or you can look at it as being gluttonous. And what I mean by that is you are taking away comfort that you might actually need. So, like, what happens if you're sweating your ass off in that highest apartment or house, and all of a sudden you have an asthma attack or something because you're trying to be cheap? No, you're being gluttonous because you're trying to save money. So what it is, you need to look at things from a neutral standpoint at first, then make the appropriate answer. Because whether you are trying to save money or be extravagant, There's always a middle ground that people can look at, but people refuse to look at it. It's either at one extreme or the other, but nobody wants to take the time to figure it out. So once again, perception. And
No, that's a great example because I used one extreme and you proposed the other extreme where someone is trying to save money and they're actually risking their own life
right.
and their own health. And no, I see what you're saying with both sides being extreme on it.
Right. And once again, like we were saying earlier in Ariel's show, shout out to Ariel, she's in the chat right now. Um, it has to be that perception, and we all have to look at each other from a humanistic standpoint. And what I mean by that is we have to look at each other as a normal person, not some rock star or a rap star or a movie star, because at the end of the day, they put on the pants same way as us. They bleed the same way. They have health problems. I mean, granted, they have access to better health care than we do, but at the end of the day, they're still human. So don't put these people up on a pedestal. And I'm not saying boycott them. I'm just saying, you like that specific, personality. That's fine. That's great. But don't think that they're better than you, because a lot of people's depression sometimes, and I'm not saying all the time, because some of it is just ingrained in you from your parents or how you grew up or whatever. But a lot of people put that self-imposed depression on themselves. It's like, oh well, I can never be as good as such and such. I can never speak as good as such and such. You know what? You're not supposed to, because if you was, you would already either A, been born with the ability to do that, or two, you would have actually went after it with zeal and got it, obtained it yourself. So don't put yourself, don't cut yourself short. We can all be great in one way or another. Because okay, look at it this way: if everybody was great at everything, nobody would talk to each other because there'll be no need, because everybody would just be great at everything. So, like, if you need to build a house, you build a house. You need your car fixed, you would fix it. You have depression, you need somebody to talk to, you wouldn't, because you're already a psychiatrist. So, what's the point of putting those barriers on yourself? There are people out there to help. And I mean, granted, they are few and far in between, but they're out there. So, therefore, once again, going back to what I said earlier, be outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you will be shocked of the type of people that you'll come across. Of course, there's bad apples too, but still, you'll find some good ones also.
I agree with you. And if you're looking at it in a non-religious perspective, don't set the bar too high. You can have short-term goals that'll get you to that long-term goal. Don't count yourself out because you're looking at the highest point. Like there's other there's other checkpoints on the way. It doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, okay, I'm not going to be a rock star in 2 weeks. No,
Right.
You might not be. I mean, I'm a little over 5 foot. I'm probably never going to make it into the NBA, but I can accept that. Like, there's a good chance that I'm never going to make that.
Right.
But there's other things I'm good at, and there's other things that I could do. Like, I could be the best 3-point shooter in the whole U.S. if I really wanted to, regardless of my height. It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And whoever popped in the background, you had a different name than your certified name through YouTube. That's why I didn't even pay you any mind. I didn't even look what you said in the private chat, but I assume it's not good. But
no, the person just said hello. Michael Moody said facts. I mean, I'm not saying that what I'm saying is facts. I'm just going by what I've experienced. And if that rings true to you, cool. I definitely appreciate that. But if it don't ring true to you, I still respect your ability to say no, I don't agree with that. So I do appreciate you saying, facts, because you know what, that inspires me to say more and do more, because, well, like I said, we can't change the world, but what we can do is change how we live, how we act, and how we talk to other people.
So here's one of my main staple questions that I ask most religious people, and it kind of puts me where I can better understand where you've grown up in religion. Your thoughts on Mary Magdalene? What is she in your eyes? Is she a bad person, a good person? Where does she fall? Because I think depending on your religious upbringing would depend on you think of her as the whore that she's made out to be, or the partner of Jesus. I even believe that there's texts that have depicted, which it can't be fully interpreted because there's parts missing. Jesus kissed Mary on her, and then there's some missing parts to the scripture.
Right.
But I always question people and wonder what their thought of Mary is.
Okay. Like I said earlier, Ariel show, I definitely love to hear what Mr. Robbins had to say, because I believe that our stories kind of mirror each other, and they really did, because how I was raised up. Yes, Mary was a whore, flat out. There was no redeeming qualities, even after Jesus was cool with her. Now he forgave. How how come we can't forgive? How come we can't quit judging people? Because you know, I can't quote it by a word. If Rev was here, he could probably quote it. Um, when you're judging people while you're busy doing that, there is judging somebody with a stick in their eye, but you have a log in yours, because you
Mhm.
become because you become blind to the truth, because
Pot
you
calling
want.
the kettle black.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's what we got to quit doing. Because ain't nobody better than anybody else. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how much influence you got. You're still a human being. You still can die. You can still bleed and everything else. You can still die of sickness.
No, I
So,
agree.
so with the going back to the Magdalene, I said all that to say this. I also see her as a very important linchpin in the Bible, because you see that yes, she was labeled as a whore, all this stuff too, but then it came to forgiveness and then repentance. See, we can all repent. We just have to do it, and she wanted it so bad, and Jesus saw it. So then she became a devout follower. See, we can
Mhm.
all do that. And I'm not saying about following God, following Jesus. I'm talking about like we can repent from the old ways that we were, because I'm a living testament to that. Like I said, if you'd have met me long ago, you'd been like, no, I can't fuck with this dude. But you see me how I am now. I'm more about family. I'm more about community. Whereas back then I was about myself. So we can all repent. We can all change our ways. But we have to be willing and put in the work to do it. So yeah, I see both sides of the Mary Magdalene story, but I look at it once again from the neutral standpoint, because even though I was brought up like, oh, she's a whore, she's dirty, rah rah rah, but I also see the other side of it, and we can all do that. We just got to try. We just got to put forth some effort.
No, I agree with you. I think the best part about the Mary Magdalene story is how she changed her life for the better. And I
Mhm.
think her being identified as her past is detrimental to the moral of the story.
Right.
The moral of the story is that she changed her past, and she was trying to be a better person, regardless of which religion you have to follow or anything like that. I feel like any religion can be like, oh, this person reached out for help and was able to obtain it after time. I mean, after the work she put in and the help she got. Hey, Joseph Pesci, nice to see you.
Yeah. So, like I said, just look at things from a neutral standpoint, then start making your decisions. Don't come in, well, like you said earlier, Jacob. Everybody comes into a conversation with preconceived notions, and that's not the way to do it. You got to go into a conversation like, okay, let me just see where this person's head is at, and then make a informed decision on how to conversate moving forward with the person or a group of people, and you'll find out that you'll get better results by doing that, because everybody always comes in with their guard up. That's just how us humans are, especially ones that have gone through like mental abuse and stuff like that. We always have our guard up. And I mean, you are definitely entitled to that right, because you don't want to get hurt again. I totally get that. But if you wish to evolve to get past that or learn to deal with it better, you got to put yourself out there. You don't have to just throw yourself out there. Like, you're in New York traffic and you're in a moving car and you just jump out in the middle of rush hour traffic. I'm not saying that, but you got to just, take one foot, just kind of step over the threshold a little bit, hold your foot there for a little bit. And if it feels uncomfortable, hey, go ahead and pull that foot back. Just try a little bit extra at a time, a little bit, and then eventually you'll see your whole entire foot is over that threshold. Then it's like, okay, I can do this, and then you're able to start moving forward.
Well, I think the best way to do that is don't go into a conversation placing it as a debate. The first thing I do when I talk to somebody that I might have opposing beliefs with is I go, okay, where do I think there's a middle ground? Because that's where I want to start the conversation, is where we do overlap, and then see where we verge into different directions. Because it's very possible we all have different beliefs. I don't think anybody in the world has the same beliefs as somebody else, unless
Right.
unless they've been told, hey, this person is who I should be following, and this is exactly what I should be doing. It's hard to, whether you're talking politics, whether you're talking religion, to 100% agree with anybody about anything, especially once they express their ideas. You go, oh, I didn't know you felt this way about this. Oh, okay. Now I have to, rethink what I think about this person, or what I think about my own beliefs. Like you should have that internal process as well when you're taking in what people are saying. Like, it's not just external where it's, oh, what they just said is wrong to what I believe, so now I need to fire back. It needs to be, okay, I'm going to interpret what they just said and either better try to understand why they feel that way, or why I feel the way that I feel. Because I
Right.
wonder where that middle ground is with most people. Like with religion, I always tell people I'm not against religion. I don't I don't I don't I don't dislike religion. I think it adds a good moral compass to people. I think when religion is used as a crutch in life, then I think it can be detrimental.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
where if it, like me, because I love that analogy of it being a crutch, because if it's holding you up, then I worry about it. I feel
Right.
like it should validate your own feelings, and you should be able to hold yourself up higher with that moral compass. I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't know. This is just outsider perspective. I mean, my brother's a youth minister. My grandfather is a he's also an ordained minister. He married a couple people in my family, but I just grew up around a very religious community,
Yeah.
and I have my own pushbacks against it, and what parts of organized religion that I don't like, but that doesn't make me hate religion as a whole. And that's, it brings me back to when I said I think you have more faith in humanity than myself, is because I think of most of the interpretations of the Bible that we're getting fed to us are human interpretations that could be actually dealt wrong.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that the message itself has to be corrupt. I think the people that are interpreting it sometimes add their own influence in it. And just like we were talking about with Lilith, and if you talk about Adam and Eve, I think it's strange that Eve had to be so much a part of man that it's almost detrimental to women in my eyes, because it's like, oh, well, without man, if he wouldn't have sacrificed his rib, you wouldn't be here.
Mhm.
And in church, you need to wear a hat, because you can't actually have the word of God and everything else directly above you like that. It's to shield you. You're allowed to wear head garments compared to a man. Like, what? I just don't understand it. It's almost like shelter
Yeah.
women, and I think that made me question religion at a young age too. Like, why are two different sexes being treated different in the same religion? At least in the church that I was going to, it could be different from church to church. And I mean,
No, it's not.
well, no, I mean, I've gone to
It's
churches
not.
that believe in gay marriage. I've gone to churches that are totally against it. Like, I've tried to experience the field when it comes to organized religion. That's actually something I studied in community college for a long time, and I don't know. It's just always had an interest in my psyche. No matter what it was, I just want to better understand why people believe the way they do, and what brought them to that. And that kind of leads me to my next question for you: was what drew you into religion, and what got your foot in the door? Because usually when people are introduced into it, it's not necessarily the first thing that they choose. sometimes they eventually evolve over time. They go, oh, I found this idea at first, and then I was like, that really wasn't for me, and I eventually moved to and found something I liked. But I wonder what your first introduction was and where you went from there.
Okay, I'll go ahead and comment on Pesci now. See, when I joined the PWO, and I have been talking on and off to Joe Pesci for like a couple of weeks. Not one time did he ask me, "What's your religion? What do you believe in? What's your stance on this? What's your stance on that?" Because he don't care about that. Just as long as you talk to him like you're a decent human being, that's all he requires. And I'm not trying to make Pesci as this almighty God. I'm just saying people need to take into consideration the core values of that alone. Don't have no preconceived notions. Just say, hey, look, I'm gonna talk to this person and then see where it goes. And that's why I respect Pesci so much. So
Oh yeah, Pesci's one of the realest people I've ever met on the internet. Regardless of what other people think of him, whenever I'm talking to Pesci one-on-one, he's the realest dude when it comes to having a one-on-one conversation.
Yeah,
I think it gets a little convoluted when there's too many people around and there's a lot more going on. But that's any live stream.
Yeah.
Anytime you're talking to people in a big group, there's too many people chiming in, and it's hard to get anything answered or understood. But yeah, no, Pesci is one of the guys that when I first met him on the internet, I just thought he was real, and I liked his approach on life, and he's very much a straightforward person. If he feels like if you got an issue with him, he'll be like, hey, what's up? Like, hey, can we talk about like what's going on? Like, he's not trying to beat around the bush with you, and he's gonna go do a live talking about you in the background, and you know what I mean. He's the same way as me when it goes. If I got a problem with somebody, I'm either gonna address them personally and say, hey, would you like to talk, or I'll go on a live and say, hey, here's the invite. Come on and talk to me. You got the floor. Like, if I'm doing wrong, put me in check.
Absolutely. Yes, Sir Vap. I won't say the whole thing, but he says, shout out to Fat Ninja, you the man, dude. I'm just a normal person like you, and I just try to just share some awareness, some love and respect to people. And that's all. So I'm not the man. I'm just being, a normal person, just trying to do good things. JP McCormick, you knew what Jacob Waters meant by it. He said,
yeah, that's what I meant by an ordained. That's what I meant by an ordained minister. I knew you knew that.
you're a damn fool, McCormick.
I'm actually doing I'm going to be doing a UFC live show tomorrow. I'll be doing commentary on the prelims, and then I'm going to do an offline show. If anybody wants to join, they can watch the whole UFC stream live. I'm gonna be streaming it through StreamYard. So anybody that joins the StreamYard link, you'll get a notification. Anybody that's subbed to me, they can watch all the fights live. I'll have them playing through the StreamYard. You won't be able to publish. I won't be able to publish it to YouTube, of course. You won't be able to see it unless you're subscribed to me. But for the whole main card, you'll be able to check out. I think Sean O'Malley's fight. No, not Sean O'Malley. Yeah, Sean O'Malley's fighting this weekend, I believe.